made it illegal to use, even in the correct context, until the early 2000s.
Streaming is started. All of that is set up. You don't need to do any of that. So this is currently streaming to Vigil, and that's going to have streaming to Instagram. I have stuff. It's 7:06.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Christine, grow on. Finally meet
Thank
you.
you for everything, for following along.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been
to
wanting
get
to
started momentarily.
Okay. With my middle
I just don't say right
and also
You can tell now that you'd rather not have pronouns as part of your intern. He will not, you don't want to intrude, not even
So
I'm not even now with any pronouns there. Him is one of those things that I'm like, similar to saying when I was a marshal for the No Kings Day. Oh, when you look like this, you can get away with a lot. So I put on the pants.
Yes.
Did you go?
And you would be able to keep
I was on the once. Because we're doing a million people.
When I was there were a lot of people there, and they were all in good mood.
We're not the ones who aren't actually encouraging people. Val, would you like me to say that out loud to people? Yeah, sorry. What? Do you want me to say that to people? Is the mic on, or do you want me to just use my big girl voice? Hey friends! Leilani here. Thank you for the call and response. If you'd like to move a little bit closer for lip reading or sound principle purposes, you are welcome to. The organizers are just standing here awkwardly. We're not actually going to march at you during this vigil. So you can come as close as you dare. Or stay back there, that's fine. I'm loud as hell. And there's a microphone, it's true.
I believe you're starting us off.
Oh, does that mean we're starting? Great, so I'll go over to the mic.
So we should get started.
Hey, that's
Is the live stream on?
That's a fabulous question. It's pointed at me.
Is on. Is Instagram going?
Not yet. Let me turn it
We're getting there. One by one.
Holding for tack.
on. Okay.
And we're good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leilani. I use she/series pronouns in English and other languages where it matters. And I am honored to welcome you to our annual vigil for trans lives. And by honored, I mean it is an honor that our trans community members trust me with this portion of the event, and a tragedy that we have to hold the vigil at all. I am going to be kicking us off with a recognition of land, water, and people, and welcome remarks. And before I do so, there are two things that I would like to share. The first is acknowledgement that one of our newest volunteers with Malden Pride Coalition, Val, who is over to my left and you will be hearing from, took on planning almost single-handedly. Mahalo nui loa, Val. The other thing that I would like to share is good news and a potential call to action. A Massachusetts Circuit Court judge just decided less than an hour ago to grant what is called class status to trans people, meaning that unless and until an injunction is issued by the Supreme Court, trans folks can, as of now, tonight, immediately expedite requests to change their gender markers on passports and other legal documentation. That was a decision that came down within the last hour or so. So if that is something that is important to you or your folks for paperwork purposes, as long as we are obligated to carry papers, make the changes you need to make. And with that, I'm going to look at our script. I want to acknowledge and honor the Namkeg, Pawtucket, and Massachusetts peoples upon whose ancestral homelands we gather for this vigil, as well as all of our Indigenous siblings who have and continue to care for this place, this land, and call it their home. Let us recognize that this acknowledgement is not in and of itself an end goal, but a starting point for us to begin to engage with the fight for Indigenous justice. As part of that, let us also recognize that the gender binary itself is a colonial system imposed on many Native communities, lands, and people. We honor Indigenous ancestors, past, present, and future, especially Indigiqueer, Two-Spirit, and trans Indigenous ancestors, past, present, and future, of these lands. I invite a moment to offer our respects. Hello all. Thank you for coming to this vigil for trans lives this Pride Month. Whether you're trans or not, whether you're religious or not, and whether you're here to remember specific people or pay respect to all our losses this year, thank you, truly, for coming. I realize this event may sound a little different from the various celebrations this month, but it is no less important. Everyone thinks of Pride a little differently. It can be a joyous occasion of queer people of all kinds coming together and celebrating that we're here. It is a time of action, of uprising, of riots, of a continuing demand and a promise of justice, something we need now more than ever. It is also a time of grief and of remembrance, for if we do not honor what came before and recognize who should be here with us but isn't, then how can we fairly fight for our shared future? Everyone grieves and remembers differently. Today, we will attempt to make space for many different forms of memorial. We are honored to have Aisha Cruz, co-president of the board of the UU Church, Pastor Emily of the Lutheran Church, missing name of the Baptist Church, missing person of the Baptist Church, here in prayer, Malden's own poet laureate C.D. Collins, and an additional board member, Cody, who will be offering their perspective as a Jewish trans person. And throughout, we will have music, where we invite you to join in singing with us, if it is a song you are moved to join in. With that, I pass it to whoever is next, I don't know. There we go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha Cruz. Just checking, can you hear me?
A little louder.
Okay, hold on.
A little bit louder now.
It is almost certainly at least partially due to placement. How about now?
Oh, that's worse.
Worse?
That's right.
You have to.
How about now?
Yay.
It is a mic distance problem. Great, fantastic. So it was distance, just not the one that I expected. Fantastic. So my name is Aisha Cruz. I'm co-president of the board of the First Parish and Malden Unitarian Universalist congregation here in Malden. I will be offering a chalice lighting. Lighting the chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, and I'm using it here today to open the space for this time that we are sharing together. We will now light our chalice, symbol of the Unitarian Universalist faith and marker of the sacred space we will share. The candle taser ran out of juice. Light a candle in your hearts. By the glow of the lights of those lost, we light the flame of life that burned within each life we mourn today. May we find healing and connection here. May we be reminded that we are part of a larger movement of souls and bodies, beautifully and wonderfully made, just like the lives we now mourn. May we find ourselves inextricably connected to the hope of a better world for all transgender people. And I will invite Val forward, and she will lead us in song.
Hi, I'm Val. You may refer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You may refer to me with any pronouns. This song might be really funny given what just occurred, but you are welcome to join me in this little light of mine. It's right here.
Anyone got a lighter?
We're trying to extend the trans lives.
Yeah.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Other verse. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now, I would like to introduce Pastor Emily Hamilton.
One more sound check. And how close do you need me? Like right up here? Okay. I'm just gonna eat the mic and it's gonna be fine. Thank you. So I am Pastor Emily Hamilton. I am the pastor of the First Lutheran Church here in Malden. We have been working together for the past about year and a half with the Lutheran Church in Woburn. So we're becoming one congregation together. And both congregations are welcoming congregations. They've done the work of education to welcome and have LGBTQ people be part of the congregation, which has been a really wonderful thing. My husband is trans. It was nice to have a safe place to land when we got to the church. But I know that our tradition has a lot to answer for in terms of how we have treated LGBTQ people and the ways that we have created and enforced a lot of the systems of oppression that go with it. So I wanted to start with a quote from An Unlikely Place. It's from Marsha P. Johnson, talking about her relationship with God. He's the only man I can really trust. He's like a spirit that follows me around. He helps me out in my hours of need and listens to all my problems and never laughs at me. He takes me very seriously. I think it's important to remember that trans people, non-binary people, queer people have always been part of the church, whether or not that has been acknowledged, whether or not that has been celebrated, whether or not those resources and gifts that trans people have been named. So I want to share one piece of scripture that a lot of trans folks have kind of taken back. I know a number of youth camps for LGBTQ youth who have brought it with them. It's Psalm 139. And I'm going to adjust from the inclusive translation, which I feel like isn't always great on name of God. We're going to use the word God, but you can insert in whatever word feels most appropriate for you and your own spiritual life. God, you've searched me and you know me. You know if I am standing or sitting. You read my thoughts from far away. Whether I walk or lie down, you are watching. You are intimate with all my ways. A word is not even on my tongue, God, before you know what it is. You hem me in before and behind, shielding me with your hand. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, a height my mind cannot reach. Where could I run from your spirit? Where could I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in death, you're already there. I could fly away with wings made of dawn or make my home on the far side of the sea. But even there, your hand will guide me, your mighty hand holding me fast. If I say the darkness will hide me and night will be my only light, even darkness won't be dark to you. The night will shine like the day. Darkness and light are the same to you. You created my inmost being and stitched me together in my mother's womb. For all these mysteries, I thank you. For the wonder of myself, for the wonder of your works. My soul knows it well. My frame was not hidden from you while I was being made in that secret place, knitted together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my body even there. All of my days were written in your book, all of them planned before even the first of them came to be. How precious your thoughts are to me, O God. How impossible to number them. I could no more count them than I could count the sand. But suppose I could, you would still be with me. I just think it's helpful to remember that for those who want to have a spiritual life, that there's a place in Scripture that affirms that God created trans people exactly as they are supposed to be, that God always knew who trans people were and affirms that and says that they are beautifully and wonderfully made. Thank you.
Next, we have poet laureate of Malden, spoken word author, and all-around troublemaker, C.D. Collins.
Can you turn it up even more?
You want to turn it up a little?
A little bit. Let's see.
That's why I go with the boots every time.
Okay, so this, can you, I don't know, I can't hear me. Can you hear
We
me?
can hear you. You sound great.
And the mic gives me a kind of an accent?
It's definitely the mic.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely the mic. Okay. I'm honored, really honored to be here tonight. I'm a Buddhist, Buddhist Baptist. I was kind of, really wanted to have something spiritual as a child, and my family was not interested, so I'd walk to church in these little patent leather shoes, which I don't think belonged on anybody, because you can't run in those, down a country road, across a highway, and went to the Three Village Baptist Chapel, where they recognized me as the little wayfaring stranger that I was, and took me in. So I'm going to start with Buddhist chant. I'm going to ring the bowl. Thank you. Nam-myo Renge-kyo, Nam-myo Renge-kyo, Nam-myo Renge-kyo. Translation. I am devoted to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound. The sound is our voices chanting, blending with the music of the universe. The mystic law of cause and effect. Make a negative cause, create a negative effect. Make a good cause, create a good effect. And we've been experiencing an escalation of negative causes, the rolling back of transgender rights. And we are called upon to make good causes. And so here we are, fully awake at this vigil. The Buddhism that I practice is contemplative and it is action-oriented. Whatever situation you are in, create value there. Find a way to turn poison into medicine. When I was 7, our family was headed to Fountain Ferry Amusement Park in Louisville, Kentucky, pronounced Louisville. I've been looking forward to this all year. It was like we were going to Coney Island in New York City. I planned to wear my sailor outfit. In my mind, I was a young boy headed off into an adventure. My mother's plans for my ensemble include a skirt and ruffles. I do not consider my reaction a tantrum or a Blue Devil fit, though I did scream and kick and arrived crying on the floor. This was a clash. This was an identity crisis for both of us. With all my 7-year-old might, I resisted being forced to present myself as someone I was not. I still recall the anguish of my mother and I battling for our identities. My mother eventually accepted that I would tear off my shirt the moment I got home from school and run wild in the fields, but I'd insist on wearing what my mother came to refer to as tailored clothing. My freshman year at Morehead State University, my roommate and I fell in love. After the other roommate moved out, we knew there was gossip about us. The hall monitor frequently swung open our unlockable door without warning. Had we been caught, we would have been expelled. I would have been too shattered to know where to go from there. I would have lost my chance for an education where I learned to think for myself,
get a teaching job, go to graduate school, move to Boston, move to Malden. For me, a college education was a ticket to a life of choices, and being kicked out of school would have cost me everything. On August 2015, County Clerk Kim Davis refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples, and this became a national story. She said the Pope approved of her decision because she met the Pope. And this happened in Round County, Kentucky, Morehead State University, where I met my first lover. In August 2016, the next year, Morehead held its very first Pride. Thank you, Kim Davis. It was 110 degrees, and we were there in force, the feathers, everything melting and dripping, and the band played on, and we danced till we shone. Kim Davis is not the poison. Prejudice and discrimination and violence are the poison. The medicine was the organizers of Morehead Pride. The medicine was dancing in the 110-degree weather. In the Buddhism that I practice, the mission is not to denigrate others and not to denigrate ourselves. This practice has no hierarchy. Everyone has an equal voice. This evening, as we honor our trans family who have lost their lives, I ask us to remember Martine Prechtel's explanation that our grief is praise. To deeply grieve is profound praise for those whom we have lost, those brave souls. To praise abundantly those who are still with us, our brave souls. To stand here together, to speak my truth, to listen to your truths, here in solidarity, to include everyone, to honor all our voices and experiences. To understand there is no they, no enemy, no demarcation between the worthy and the unworthy. We are all Buddhas carrying the light inside us. We are all seeking spirits, bodhisattvas of the earth. Appreciate who you are. You are the best thing that ever appeared on this whole planet. You are the greatest thing in the whole universe. If you believe there is nothing you cannot do with your life, there is nothing you cannot do. To believe that you can do anything is to bring your life into harmony. You are a treasure tower. Remember those we've lost. Appreciate their lives. Appreciate the essence of your own life, whatever we are experiencing in this moment. We are here to honor the sacred members of our trans family who are not with us tonight and to live in a way that honors them. Appreciate where we are right now in these moments of grief and of praise. Being a Buddha does not mean you're perfect. It means you always turn the negative into the benefit. Tonight's Trans Vigil is a medicine to confront and transform the tragic, the hurtful, and the unjust. To create value here because our lives depend on it. With this vigil, we are making an extraordinary pause. I will close by sounding the chime 7 times. As I strike the bowl, I invite you to speak the names of those we honor tonight. And I will end by chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo 3 times. You're welcome to join me in this incantation. I invite you to speak the names of those we honor tonight.
Mariachi Lopez Relgado, David Allen Sparuki, Lorena Iris, Waranan Panacha, Charlotte Oski, Noir Jimenez.
Namyo Renge Kyo, Namyo Renge Kyo, Namyo Renge Kyo. Thank you. Such an honor to be invited.
Okay, does this work with the mask? Oh, good. Okay, excellent. As mentioned, I'm one of the Malden Pride board members. Please bear with me a little bit as I'm last minute filling in for someone.
who might be here in a bit. So, I am a Jewish Maldonian. I am also a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church that Aisha lit the chalice for earlier. And I dabble in paganism every once in a while. I have also more than once referred to myself as devoutly agnostic. So while my faith may be complicated, my ancestry isn't. My grandparents fled persecution in 1930s Poland. As such, I strongly believe in never again. As a non-binary transgender American, I also acutely feel what the current imperialist regime is doing to us. There are those who would seize on our history of collective trauma to turn us against each other. But in community, we build strength. In community, we process our grief. I'm thankful that you are with me tonight and thankful that we are here for each other. Never again, to me, means never again for Jews, for Muslims, for Palestinians, means never again for Mexicans and Venezuelans, means never again for disabled and queer folks, and for disabled queer folks, means never again for anyone. We need pride more than ever this year. We need pride for those who can't be here to celebrate with us, whether because they have passed on or because it is not safe for them to join us. Tonight, we remember and celebrate those who came before us. Every year, I start off the Pride season by remembering those who can't be here. Those whose time on this planet was cut short simply for being who they are. May their memories be blessings and revolutions and carry us forward in this work. And let the rain nourish us and remind us that after despair, we can, each a raindrop and together a storm, grow a better world.
So it's Leilani again, and that was Aisha, and I am actually drawing attention to the ingenuity of a little LED tea candle on top of the wax candle that wouldn't light, because to me that is a perfect symbol for a vigil for trans lives in the rain under a regime that doesn't want us to be here. Beeswax, LED bulb, light in each other's hearts. We are here, and we will burn, and never the way they meant. With that, I am going to offer some words from some trans poets. The first is a poem called Dear Goddess by a poet named, let me just make sure I have got their name correct, Kai Chang Tong. Dear Goddess, in heaven above, it's me. How are you, and how is your wife, the daughter of volcanoes? Oh, and the twin male lovers, the constellations. Are they well, Goddess? I know it's been such a long time since last I wrote, or called, or visited. To be honest, Goddess, I was a little bit pissed off at you. Well, actually a lot, because of that whole not showing up thing you did when I needed you. That one time with the mirror and the poison and the bed sheets and the razor, that night of the red stars, Goddess, I was so angry. You promised me the world. Beautiful dresses, gold lipstick, gorgeous poetry, city streets as full and wide as paradise. And I believed in you. I left home for you. I ran away from you. And then I needed you, and you weren't there. Dear Goddess, you broke my heart. But that was a long time ago, or at least it feels long, and I think we can put it behind us, right, Goddess? We were so young and foolish then, and anyway, if you don't mind, I need to ask you for something. Goddess, your daughter calls. By the scent of cigarettes in the night, I call you. By the gasoline rainbows of oil-slick streets, I ask you. By the spilled blood of those gone before, I beg you. Save these young queers, these sharp-edged poets yet unsung, these young survivors, story swallowers, bearers of ghosts. Give them your love and bear witness. Let the elders speak as best they can through the vessel of my body, all of 26 years old, and let life speak through them. Hear my prayer. Save these young queers. Don't let them die, Goddess, and don't make us bury them. That is a prayer to the goddess by the trans poet Kai Chang Tom. The second offering that I have is a personal statement by the poet J. Jennifer Espinoza. I don't believe I was born. It maybe emerged from a soupy formation of gays and other beautiful things instead. I've gone on, telling you all about how I created myself, took a photo of what I was given, tore it up, set it on fire, inhaled its smoke, and grew 20 times my side. All of this has been said. Today, I want to make this space my own and project my light through every surface. I think by now I've earned this. What with the breathing exercises just to leave the house and the hyper-awareness of every blade of grass's movement and the drinking and the getting high each night to stave off the nightmares, just girly things. So here's what you need to know. Anytime I'm doing something I'm afraid of. This makes each experience seem new and old at the same time. I'm always like, I don't give a fuck, when in reality, I am literally going to die from how much of a fuck of my fuck I give. Also, I'm a witch, and I get all my powers from the wind. Wow, aren't I special? Don't you want to love me with all of your heart for the next 10 seconds? Don't you want to rescue me from all the things that make you feel safe? That is a personal statement by the trans poet J. Jennifer Espinoza.
Who is amazing.
Amazing. Amazing.
We have this vigil because despite how much violence trans people have faced, our experiences and our traumas are often minimized, ignored, wiped from history. Since October 1st, 2024 through today, we have lost 165 trans lives to violence. We have this vigil to defy erasure of our losses. But we are not defined only by our losses, and those we have lost deserve to be remembered as more than shocking statistics. At just about every vigil, memorial, and funeral I've been to, there's a moment where somebody says that we're not just mourning a death, but we're celebrating a life. It's almost cheesy, but there's truth in that. Today, I wish to not only recognize the injustice of these people's deaths, but to remember that they had full, rich lives. And each life, even if they were taken too soon, touched others, the lives of family, found or otherwise, of friends, even of acquaintances. And every life that is touched is changed, in large ways and small. Perhaps we might be changed too. In this speech, as we name each person, I'd like to share some small portion of each of their lives with you all. The intention is not to try to somehow capture each person's essence in but a few words. The intention is to remember that each person had a name, but was also more than a name. The intention is to celebrate their lives as we mourn their deaths. As we invoke the names of our beloved dead, we invite you to take and light a candle.
Rita Hester and Chanel Pickett are known for being the first people remembered with Trans Day of Remembrance. But Chanel is also remembered as high-spirited and confident by her also trans twin, Gabrielle. And Rita is known for finding an unexpected home in the Boston rock scene.
The dapper next Benedict, raised by their grandmother, loved their cat Zeus and enjoyed playing Ark and Minecraft.
The kind-hearted Sam Norquist collected stuffed animals when he traveled with his mom and put them on the dash of his car.
The brilliant Tahiri Bloom loved making people laugh and was a big fan of Nicki Minaj.
The creative Charlotte Fosgate, known as Charcoal online, was a well-known, well-respected member of the Sonic the Hedgehog modding community. Apparently, she made some great mods for Sonic Frontiers and Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Activist and leader Noah Jimenez belonged to a support group for those who experience gender and sexuality-based violence.
Maite Lopez Regalado was a textile artisan, bodybuilder, and a Muxe community leader. Muxe, or Muxe, is a traditional Mexican third gender that is largely erased in most conversations about trans people, as most indigenous third gender people are.
David/Alex Garuffi was an Italian TikTok personality and was open with his changes in gender identity, from identifying as a trans woman to being non-binary and returning to their birth name.
Lorena Irisbel Salazar Luisa, called Iris, was studying law at Santa Elena Peninsula State University and was known for her social activism.
Waranun Panacha was a Thai trans woman and was a beloved daughter, sex worker, and the primary breadwinner of her family. And to anyone we haven't named here today, we recognize them too. We recognize especially multiply oppressed trans people, especially but not only Black trans people, Indigenous trans people and Two-Spirit people, Roma trans people, Latina trans people, and Asian trans people. We recognize all trans immigrants. We recognize Muslim trans people and Jewish trans people and the trans people of every oppressed religious group, as well as trans people who are spiritual and the trans people of no religion. We recognize disabled trans people and chronically ill trans people, especially those who have had to navigate COVID safety in a society that pretends to move on. Neurodivergent trans people, mad trans people. We recognize fat trans people, sex working trans people, low income trans people, houseless trans people, intersex trans people, trans drag royalty, and all the other trans people who are queer in multiple ways. We also don't just recognize the trans people of Turtle Island, but the trans people all over the world, especially in Palestine, in Sudan, in the Congo, and in every place facing mass displacement and genocide at the hands of colonialism and imperialism. We see you, we hear you, We honor your rich lives. We rage at the injustice of your deaths. And we fight to prevent such injustice in the future.
Yes.
Encourage you to eat them.
Okay, how's this?
That's great. Let me adjust it to a height that is good for you. How's
Okay.
that?
That's good, thank you.
Fantastic. Oh, wait, is that the right one? Yeah, good. Cool.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. My name is Eva Chasen. Some of you might have seen me speaking at the pro-Palestine rallies locally. I think this is the first time I've been at any trans-specific events. I don't really talk too much about that part of myself, which is kind of the topic of my speech for today, alienation. I had a whole entire different program planned to read, and then people were like, wait, you haven't talked about being trans at all. And I was like, no, okay, yeah, no, that did just not happen. So I almost wasn't here, and then one of my comrades checked in on me, and now I'm here, and yeah, so there are multiple different kinds of alienation. There's the classic alienation from labor, a la Marx. There's alienation from religion and gender, and the kind I'm dealing with is alienation from being trans, alienation from being Jewish, because I'm an anti-Zionist Jew, and we're not super popular in the mainstream Jewish spaces, turns out. Alienation occurs as a result of the dominant culture squeezing out people who don't fit in with the idealized version of what is of who they're supposed to be based on criteria that they have no control over, like what they were assigned at birth, their skin color, that kind of thing. And it causes people who are not in the dominant group to go through some stuff. Let's see. Makes us feel isolated, dissociated from ourselves, our communities. Feels like we're drifting through life a lot of the time because personally I can't. Right now it feels like it's hard for me to know myself and for other people to know me because of how much what I have to do to survive involves denying several large parts of myself to stay safe and continue to earn income. And it's also, for trans people, one of many reasons why so many of us don't make it, why we have so many names to read, because there are just so many sources of alienation in a lot of different places in our lives, and we really need more spaces like this and more people who open up other spaces we're traditionally excluded from to help us get back to being able to express ourselves, who we are authentically, and yeah. And like there's a lot of work to be done in this building a more sustainable, inclusive, diverse world. And part of that is being sure we can accommodate people where they're at in the movement as we're building it, regardless of their any factor of marginalization they might face, keeping things accessible via wheelchairs, keeping like fucking racists out of Black Lives Matter rallies, you know, and also by being able to also reaching out to your comrades when they're kind of obviously struggling, when they don't really realize it, and checking in. That's a big part of building this too. And that's what I've got for y'all. I have to go do a thing that's alienating to make money. So, thanks for having me. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.
Bringing a candle with you.
Pulling up the script. Oh, once you find the script, there we are. first of all, I want to give one more thank you to all of our speakers here tonight. Really lovely pieces that everyone had, and I appreciate it very much for coming out here and showing your support for trans people and the queer community as a whole. And we end, more or less, well, we end with a song, but first I have this reflection. I've seen some say that Pride feels weird this year. I won't. I won't say Pride doesn't feel weird this year, but I also think that these are the times that Pride is for. But what is Pride, though, really? I don't think it's any one thing. It can be drag brunches. It can be park events with bouncy castles and queer vendors. It can be community meetings, online or in person. It can be conversations. It can be artistic expression. It can be marches and screaming in the streets, shouts of, "You're killing us! Stop it! Just stop!" It can also be throwing bricks. Marsha P. Johnson comes up a lot around discussions of Pride. I suspect many of you know the story of her supposedly throwing the first brick at the Stonewall Uprising. But I can't help but think about how it's actually hard to know how involved she was at that particular uprising. How she herself said that the rioting had already started by the time she got there. Though, to be clear, however she participated, I say, good for her. But what we know with more certainty about her is that she and her friend Sylvia Rivera founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries and put together a shelter for houseless queer youth. They worked hard to make a home and a family for the queer kids who needed it the most. I don't know exactly how they set that up. Maybe it required some brick throwing. But I think part of it was just getting up every day or night and getting dressed. And maybe it was a fabulous dress and a flower crown. Maybe it was a tank top and jeans. Maybe it was just an old sweater or hoodie or flannel that hides one form well enough for the wearer to forget that form. And whatever way they did it, they went out. And it took time and grit and effort and determination to drag themselves up every damn step, if not making the steps themselves, because the world didn't make those steps for them, or maybe didn't make those steps at all. Just facing down the horrors every day and feeling the grief and the anger build in your throat. And maybe some days those feelings come out with a brick through a window, or the flipping of a car, or beating the street, or the walls, or your own chest, shouting and naming the world's injustices so they can no longer be ignored. And maybe some other days is just letting those feelings live in your throat, holding them, saying, it's not safe for you to come out right now, but you're not wrong to be there. You're not wrong to be angry, to feel the grief, the shock, the sadness, the anguish, to just sit with the fact that there was an indigenous teen who just wanted to go home to their cat. Sometimes there's no words for those feelings. Sometimes you have to just feel. I don't know what we'll do with our feelings outside of this vigil. I don't know exactly how we face the horrors, but we have our feelings, and no one can take them away from us. We face a big, scary world, but we face it with whatever we have at our disposal. Maybe what we have are bricks, or art, or event planning, or just people to talk to. Just know that whatever you do, you don't do it alone. And whatever you feel, you don't feel it alone. Thank you all very much for coming. Stay safe, stay strong, stay soft, and keep each other close. We will now end with the extinguishing of candles and one last song.
So, a brief introduction to the extinguishing of the candles. What I am going to say is often called a benediction, or just more simply, closing words. Our benediction today are from the words of the incomparable writer and poet Arundhati Roy. They have been set to music many times. May they carry you on your journey home. Linger as long as you wish. Depart when you are ready. Please leave your candles as you go. Blessed be, Ashe and Amen. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She is on her way. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She is on her way. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She is on her way. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You're welcome to join me if you feel so moved. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Another world is not only possible, she's on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She is on her way. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She is on her way. Thank you for coming. The shortest of announcements, simply because every religious service ends with announcements, no matter where you are or what denomination you belong to. We are Malden Pride Coalition. We will be having. I'm going to turn this at my face so you can see me a little bit. We are having Malden Pride in the Park this Sunday, June 22nd, from noon to 4. We would love to see you there. There will be, unfortunately, not a bounce house this year, I don't think. No bounce house. But there will be many drag queens, I am told. And kings. Our first year with a drag king. And dance performances and a cappella groups and just a wonderful time.
Free education and a free trolley.
There will be a free trolley taking you there from Malden Center and stopping at the Target parking lot. Come to either location to be ferried to Deborah Park, which is on Fellsway. On June 28th, on June 27th, which is a Friday, we have our very last event for Pride. It is an after party. It's going to be at Idle Hands. Thanks, Idle Hands, for doing this for free for us. Buy a ticket. There are QR codes around so that I can tell them that we have 100 people coming.